Yeah. I guess you get search with Hatak, or oh no, that's Google. I'm not a Haskeller, so you can see I'm not a Haskeller. I'm one of the few Twig non-Haskellers. Yeah, I can pretend a little bit in the conversations. You can say, oh, is that a monad? Yeah. Alright, should we get started? Alright, let's do this. We are live. Yay. Alright, Dennis, thanks for coming to next Friday.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Today we're gonna talk about packaging stuff in JavaScript. You wanted to learn more about that. Yeah, just
Mhm.
feel free to say what you wanted to do today, and then we can jump into implementing.
Yeah, so I am a Haskeller, and recently I've been doing a little bit of PureScript, and there are some PureScript tools that are not available in Nix packages.
Mm.
Um, and so PureScript is a alt.js, so it's a Haskell-like language that compiles to JavaScript.
Okay.
And the tools that oh, Puff and Fresh, I think.
Yay,
Who's that?
pure script.
Yeah.
We have a fan.
Yeah, Puffenfrez is a very well-known Haskeller.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I think he's been a Haskeller for a real long time. Um, but yeah, so I've been doing PureScript. There's two PureScript tools that are not available in Nix packages, and I wanted to make them available. However, they are up on npm. I guess available as JavaScript packages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't really have that much JavaScript background.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's why
so
you want to use pure script, right?
yeah, exactly. So ideally, I wanted to look with you tonight on how the JavaScript stuff is set up in Nix packages and how we can go about adding some other packages from npm.
Alright, I think it's doable.
Okay.
So we're gonna try and stay within 1 hour, and then if we need to go over, then we can discuss. Last week I spent 2 hours on packaging some things unsuccessfully. And
Okay.
I didn't see the time going by actually, so if it's too long, just let me know.
Okay.
Alright, so
Well, I am.
we need, so I think how I would approach packaging in general is you would look at the repository to see, what is there, and then given that, make some informed decision on how to package the thing. So I guess we could start by browsing the repository or checking it out.
Okay, let's do that.
So we're on your machine right now, so I will let you drive.
Yeah, let me search on GitHub for the PureScripts PSA package. And I will clone that locally. Can you see on the terminal here? I'm typing.
Yep. CD git.
Okay. So let's clone PureScript PSA. Jump into that directory. So again, I'm not super familiar with JavaScript packages, but this looks to me like a pretty standard package. It has a package.json and index.js file.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we noticed that there's a package.json. The index is probably the entry point. Mm-hmm. And there is a bower.json file, which is unusual because bower is kind of deprecated in the JavaScript land.
So Bower was used for a while, and I think it's still used for PureScript packages.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe the reason is because um, I'm not, my information may not be completely up to date, but NPM allows you to have multiple versions of the same dependency.
Mm-hmm.
Bower does not.
Okay.
PureScript, it's similar to Haskell in that uh, it's bad to have multiple versions of the same dependency. And like if you look at like all the reverse dependencies, all the transitive
Mm-hmm.
dependencies,
Yeah.
you can't have like the same dependency at two different versions
Mm-hmm.
in that tree of reverse dependencies.
Okay. I guess
Um,
that makes sense. So when they created PureScript, it was a while ago, and they had Bower was still a thing, I think. And
yes.
so
Yeah.
they wanted to bootstrap their environment with an existing tool, and so they probably used Bower. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
There's I want to say that this is also up on npm. Um, I think if you do npm PureScript PSA, uh, this is a package on there.
okay.
I don't know if this is you want to open this up and take a look at it,
I guess I could
but it makes more
open
sense
it
to
in
do.
my browser. So, um, right. So I don't know if you can see my screen.
I'm yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm looking at your Twitch stream now.
Right. There is a bit of latency. Um, but I don't know if there's much to see here because that's gonna be the packaged version of the same thing. So,
Yeah. So one thing I didn't know, um, it's quite possible that the repository that we've downloaded from GitHub, um, it's not compiled. In order to get something that's actually working, you need to run, the PureScript has a build tool called pulp. You need
okay.
to run like pulp build.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas the version that they've uploaded here to npm, it might be like the complete. You can just download it and run it as a node package.
Okay. Oops.
Um,
How do you expand lines in Vim? Because I never used that feature.
how do you do what? Oh, expand. It's Z and then capital R. But
Okay. Listeners, we are learning some Vim as well at the same time as Mix.
I think Emacs is available as well if you want to open Emacs.
Mm-hmm. No,
Although I think
I
it's
think
actually
no Vim is fine, but I never used that feature specifically.
oh,
So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
I know the rest. It's fine. Cool. So we have the entry points here, and then there's a build script that runs compile, and then this runs PSA. And to compile the Bower dependencies, and then there's a PSA is the binary here, so there's a bootstrap problem, I guess.
Yeah. That does look to be the case.
So here they're trying to run the index.js directly for bootstrapping, I guess. Okay. Cool. So we can either try to play with the package on the repository itself. So typically I would create a shell.mix file here.
Mm-hmm.
And do something like that. So I guess we need Node.js and Bower and PureScript. So if you do next shell here, right. Bower is not available.
It might be node packages.bower.
So you're on NixOS and NixOS unstable. Okay.
I think I'm on 1909. Oh, that's for my my like local user. Oh yeah, so I think you can get Bower from node packages. I think if you do node
Oh,
packages.bower,
you're right.
you can
So
get it.
we have some comments in the chat. I think we're gonna ignore them for now.
Yeah. Oh, I can. I think they're talking about PSC package to Nix,
Yeah.
which I think is kind of an alternative to Bower. And I think I'm not super familiar with it, but I think a lot of people in the PureScript community are moving to a tool called Spago. That may be using PSC package in the backend, and I'm not really sure of the relationship there.
Okay. So Bower is installed because it was a dependency of the package JSON. Then PSA is missing, but that's makes sense because yeah, we didn't. I think the package is a bit broken because it should. I mean, how can you build PSA? Yeah, the bootstrap.
It looks like it's assuming that it exists.
Yeah, and also we need, I think, to run Bower now. Oh, so one thing about node packages is they have this .bin folder in here, and that's where you find the binaries. So if we do this, okay, now we're fetching the dependencies.
Yeah. So this looks like it should be downloading all the PureScript stuff for us.
Yeah. And now we should be able to say compile-self. And what is that? Cannot find module output main foreign.
Oh, I'm sorry, what did you say?
The error is cannot find module output main foreign.js. And we don't have an output folder in here. It looks like the output is the... It would be the output of a PureScript build, right?
Yeah, let me, can I take over one?
Yep,
second?
go ahead.
So, package.json. Yeah, I was wondering if it was expecting us to try to build with pulp. But I don't see pulp in the dev dependencies, and it doesn't look like it's here in the scripts. So that's not true. You can take over again.
Wait, is the PureScript compiler usually? So, because in the index.js here, right? We see that it's trying to require some files from the output. So it's probably already compiled to be able to do that.
Yeah, so
the bootstrapping is broken in this package. Like, I think what you need here is something like pures compile, and then I don't know what's the arguments to this. So we can try. So we're not really doing any Nix packaging right now. We just figure out. Oh, it's compiling.
That was a great guess.
Uh-oh.
Hmm.
Alright, I don't know anything about PureScript, so I don't know if you're able to decode that error.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It could be. It's possible that this wants a different version of PureScript than we have. Um, I'm not sure, and I'm not sure how they're expecting to do the this bootstrapping here
Mm-hmm.
either.
I guess we could already send a pull request for the bootstrapping.
Yeah, we could do that. Um, we could also just change and try packaging it as a normal, like a normal npm package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's switch to next packages then. We know a bit about the package. We learned a few things about this. And we're going to assume that the npm package has the pure PSA pre-built and pre-compiled, so we're gonna be fine on that regard, I guess.
Okay, that sounds good.
So we need to switch to next packages. I don't know where it's on your computer.
Yeah, let me get us there.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right. Let's make a new branch.
Okay. Check out PureScript PSA. Okay.
Okay. So I guess there's a few things I would do. One is to find a location for the package. So for that I would open there's a file called packages top level all packages.next and maybe look for PureScript to see if there's other PureScript stuff. Yeah. Okay. So I guess we could put it in the PureScript folder in here. So we're going to pretend that it exists, and it's gonna be in here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, CO is checkout, but it's an alias, so you have to set it up yourself. Just answer anything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I already forgot the path. Okay, yeah.
Development, compilers, PureScript PSA.
Okay, and the second one is to find out how node packages are being done.
Yes.
So typically what I do is, there's a tool called Node to Next, I think. Right, so if we look in, yeah, let's say Bitwarden.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
If we take this project as an example, you can see there's a bunch of files in here.
Yes.
There's default.next, and it just imports the node packages.next, and then overrides the name, I guess, because the default name is not really nice. And then there's a bunch of supporting code in here. There's a generate file that runs node to next, so that's the one that's going to generate your next code. And you can see as an input it takes the node packages.json. And so if we look in here, we should have Bitwarden, yeah. So what we can do, and all the rest is generated, so we could just copy the default.nix, the generate.sh, and the node packages.json in one more. Okay. Does it make sense what I'm doing, or?
Yeah. So you're kind of taking like a skeleton of this Bitwarden CLI, and we're going to use it to change some things in it and hopefully be able to build PureScript PSA.
Yeah. In theory, we can just change. Wait, is it? What was?
Oh, sorry.
VR.
It's Z. Oh, yeah.
Oh, ZR. Let me try it again. Z.
Oh.
And now it's expanded, so it's okay.
Yeah.
It remembers. So this is gonna be the package sets that we want. And then we have this generate script. I think the node env is something that's shared, and it's probably, we are already under development. So I think we can just get rid of this and this.
Okay.
And now we run generate. Okay, at this it says there's a much easier way to get node packages into Nix is to add the package to packages development node packages.
Yeah, this is actually what I wanted to ask about as well.
Uh-huh.
I know there's a whole, node packages, top level attribute, and I was just wondering how that works as well.
I don't know, actually. We should have a look. What's the problem here? Okay, the file doesn't exist because where are we? Okay, we still need one. Let's get this working and then we can look at the other method.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, that's done. Now if we go back to the top and we do next build -a PureScript PSA. Right. I think we need in the default that needs to be also fixed. So this is here. We probably want the same fix here.
PSA.
Okay. It smells like is it trying to load Node.js? Okay, so this is generated by Node2Next. And we're not passing the package, the Node.js here. So here we should really inherit from next packages as well. And say that we want the version, I don't know, the default one is probably fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this says we should really use the Node packages. Yeah, but the thing is, like, you have tons of JavaScript packages which all have their own dependencies. And so if we create a package set, then we need to resolve the common dependencies that work together. I think here we have just our own package set for that package with its own dependencies. It's not a package set, it's just the package and its dependencies. So it's easier to update, I think. Okay, so we have the scripts.
Okay, so it's looking for the PureScript compiler.
Okay.
So if you were to jump into a shell, like if you were to run a Nix shell with with PureScript, it should hopefully work then.
Okay. So in that case, what you usually want, do you switch versions of PureScript often, or?
I'm not sure the relationship between PureScript PSA and the PureScript compiler.
Mm-hmm.
So I think PureScript PSA is a wrapper over top of the compiler that like does a couple nice things, like it prettifies, the compiler output and stuff.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there's like a strong link between PureScript PSA version and the actual compiler version.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that it might be nice to add a wrapper around PureScript PSA so that it, always sees the compiler.
Usually we do that, right? Like.
Yeah. I'm not sure in this case if that's a good idea or not.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go ahead and do it for the, if anyone's watching on here and, hasn't seen that before, it might be an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in practice, I don't know if we'd want that.
Well, the issue might be if you install a version of PureScript and PSA, and if you're using both tools, then it might be confusing because they might be at different versions. But if you're always going to use PSA once you have PSA installed, then it's less of a problem.
So I think someone might correct me on this in the chat, but I think what people do in the PureScript community is install the PureScript compiler and PureScript PSA separately.
Okay.
They don't treat PureScript PSA as like, the one thing to install.
Okay.
I know that's kind of weird for us coming from Nix, but
yeah, I think like if you look at the Rust packaging, typically you get a package set that includes the Rust compiler, cargo, I don't know what else, but they're all together, right? And then if you want to switch version, then you use another package set. And that's what happens in a lot of cases. I think in Haskell as well, you want, GC something with the right version of the strings library, and all of that comes together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the benefit of doing that is someone could say, oh, I want to, write a PureScript app. Let me pull in the compiler. They could just pull in PureScript PSA and,
Mm-hmm.
then they'd get the actual PureScript compiler along with it.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that, and then if they want a different version of the compiler, they would have to override PureScript PSA to inject the version that they want for the compiler, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
Or we can go the whole mile and start a PureScript package set. That's includes.
Yeah, yeah. I was kind of thinking about that. I think it'd be a lot of work. I mean, the Haskell package set is a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I didn't really want to take that on myself.
Yeah, maybe not for this stream. Like, or maybe we can do an episode on just package sets and how to do them. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually, I think every language invents their own way of doing the package set.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been some efforts in the community to unify this, but the problem is you need an agreement with everyone, and that takes time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for example, the Haskell package set has its own fixed points, and so you have like 2 fixed points now in its packages, and that makes like extending things a bit more difficult in the when you're working with Haskell.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's also a completely separate Haskell package set that a lot of people are using.
Oh
So
yeah. You mean Haskell.nix or?
Haskell.nix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think this is working. So we could actually commit this in a branch, and then we can try the approach from Addis Bladis if you're up to it.
Okay, yeah. Let me Nix shell pure script I'm expecting. And then we should be able to run results bin PSA. Yeah, it looks like it's running at least.
Yay. Cool.
Okay. So you said to commit this.
Okay, I think we can ignore the change in the node env. That's
okay.
That's kind of the node to Nix that's changing its own file.
Okay, so I'm just going to do I'll write this all out. Git commit in pure script PSA work in progress. Okay, and then you wanted to check out a new branch, pure script PSA. What should we call this? Node packages. Oh, and then let me get rid of this change. Okay, and then I can delete output because that was from the PureScript compiler.
Oh, okay.
And then I want to reset hard to the previous commit, so we will be back before we made any of the PureScript PSA changes.
So I'm just thinking. I think so. So just from the previous version, the default.nix didn't have any meta information, or at least we didn't fill any meta information. I think the generated code has some meta information, but for example, the maintainers field is missing.
Yeah, I can go back and fill that in.
Yeah.
Before
I just wanted to mention that this is not great, but yeah, it's okay. I mean, we have an example that Bitwarden CLI has been accepted like that. But ideally, you would have each package that gets submitted to Nix packages has a maintainer, which is the person who submitted the package. Because otherwise, we just get tons of packages that are unmaintained, and that's not really fun either. Yeah. Okay, so node packages. Let's have a look. Do you want to drive this?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be the one who looks around, you could feel free to take over, or you can tell me where to
Right.
look.
I think we would just look in packages, development, node packages, and see how it's structured.
Okay. Packages, development, node packages. So it looks like there's a generate script.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like there's a v10, v12, v13. I'm guessing that's for different node versions.
Yeah, there's a README, so maybe
Yeah, you want to look
we
in the
can
README?
hope the documentation is up to date.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna go on the browser
Manual.
and go to the next website. This manual. And then what was the section of the...
Node section.
Okay. I think I found it. Let's have a read.
Oh, okay.
So the folder we're at contains a generated collection of npm packages that can be installed with the next package manager. A rule of thumb: the package set should only provide end-user software packages, such as command. Okay, so we're good. When it's desired to use npm libraries, okay, that's we can ignore. The package set also provides support for multiple node versions. Okay. If your package uses native add-ons, you need to examine what kind of native build system it uses. Well, I think we're good.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to override your package expression while adding a build system. Oh no, that's about this. Okay, to add a package, modify the node packages v10.json to add, update, or remove package entries, or the v8, which is not existing anymore. Run the scripts. Build your new package to test your changes. Okay. Cool. I guess we should just pick a version of Node that we want to use.
Yeah, I was wondering what the basic or the default version of Node.js is. It looks like it is version 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we could add it to that, I guess.
Yeah, sounds good. So, oh, we're not in the folder. Do you wanna do it? Or?
Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted me to get to that folder we were in?
What is the expand again? Z and R.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There you go.
So that's sorted alphabetically. So pure scripts should be around here.
Okay. And there is that tool right there. Pulp is that is the one PureScript build tool.
Oh right. Okay.
So that's nice that it's already in here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then generate. I guess we should move into the folder. I'm gonna use push D because we keep going in and out.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess for people watching, if you've never seen push D before, it's a feature of Bash, I guess, that kind of gives you this like directory stack. You can push onto it, and then when you want to go back where you were, you can say pop D, and it takes you back and pops the directory off the stack.
Yeah, it's a little less. It's a not very well-known feature of Bash, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you don't see very many people using it.
Yeah. Okay, it's working. So do you have any PureScript project in mind that you want to do after this is packaged?
So I'm trying to work on a kind of a project, uh, like a service that I want to launch at some point. Um, and it's a Haskell backend and PureScript on the front end.
Okay.
And right now I'm getting tools like this PureScript PSA from using Yarn to Nix. And I thought it would be slightly easier if they were available in Nix packages.
Yeah, okay.
I thought there might be some, PureScript users who are new to Nix packages and, don't want to have to learn Yarn Nix or, so they just want to pull it directly from Nix packages.
Yeah. I guess we could work on I mean, as a PureScript developer, you kind of want a nice user experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's the best approach, because Puff and Fresh, who knows everything about PureScript, says there's a PSC package, so maybe a user wants to use that. And then there's Spago as well, which is written in DAL. But I guess, yeah, if you just do Nix run, Nix packages, that's PureScript PSA, then you have your PSA frontend. That's nice.
Yeah. And I actually, just this morning, I packaged Spago in Nix packages.
Oh, right.
And that's just a Haskell package, so.
Okay, so that's easy for you.
Well, it wasn't, but it was. I kind of knew what I was doing there.
Yeah. Cool. Man, I think it's the first time we have so many viewers, or at least the chat is really active. It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, someone just said you can use CD and then hyphen to go to the previous directory. It's an alternative to doing push D.
Yeah, it works, but you have to be careful to not CD in between.
Yeah. So Addis Blattis said that this might take a while.
Yeah. So we could hack the generate script, or how many cores do you have on your machine?
So this is actually a VM, and it only has 2 cores.
Okay. Because we could. You wanted to package other things, right?
Yeah, but I could also do that, on my own. If you wanted to talk about Yarn to Nix, there might be people that, I think we looked at Node to Nix. I was interested myself in what the difference is between Node to Nix and Yarn to Nix.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah, sounds good. I displayed this. The idea was to leave that running in the background while we package something else. Cool, so you have another project that uses Yarn as a package manager?
I do. It's a private thing, though. It's not online. I was thinking that maybe we could, I don't know what would be easiest for you. We could just go into a Nix shell with Yarn, and maybe there's a way in Yarn to create like an empty repository or something.
Yeah, or we can pick an existing project that's managed with Yarn instead of Node npm.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
I think you sent me a project name. Where to go? Let me check my.
Oh. Yeah. So I had
Okay, maybe I shouldn't show my emails to everyone. They're saying there's no echo, or like this is not a sound effect. I think it's just a lag sometime, or I don't know why. Let me just turn off the stream for 2 seconds while I check my emails.
Oh, okay.
Up. Now we're offline. Mm-hmm. I think React is probably one. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna switch back the stream and we're good. Alright, we're back. We found a project called React DND, and this has a yarn.luck, so we can actually try and package this.
Oh.
Or, so do you want to pretend that this is your project and you were working on, or do you want to package it for our next packages? Because that's two different things actually.
What do you recommend? How about we just pretend that this is my project that I'm working on.
All right, let's do this. So we're gonna cancel the big generation and pretend that this is fine. And so we need to clone this. Okay. This might take a while.
Oh yeah, this looks pretty big.
Yeah. So what's React DNT?
So I'm not actually on the so I think I might have said this when we were not streaming. But we have a PureScript project at work, and I think it's using React, and I think that they had wanted to use this React drag and drop library. And I think it's basically a library to make like dragging and dropping stuff, like, in JavaScript, easy to work with React, I guess.
Okay. So it's more like a library that you would use in a React project.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So as a JavaScript developer, I would probably just add it to my package JSON, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But right now we're pretending we are React DND developers.
Yes.
And so we want to create an environment where we can develop on this.
Yes. It looks like, just from looking at the web page, it looks like it has a tsconfig file.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if it's using TypeScript.
Oh, yeah, it's probably using TypeScript as well. Let's look at this. There's multiple packages in here. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, here's the core. Okay. So you have in the top level, you have a yarn. You have a package.json, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to see because yeah, there you go. So we have multiple workspaces for the project,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this is a way. When you have big projects in JavaScript, you want to split them in different packages.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a new feature that they added to do this.
Oh, okay. So you could have like, it's kind of like a mono repo where you have one repo, but it has different packages defined within it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if the dependency resolution is on the workspace level or is it on a per package level. So let's have a look.
You mean the dependency resolution in Yarn to Nix?
Yeah, there's a log file that's being generated.
Ah, I see. I see.
And I don't know if it includes everything from all the packages. I think so.
Hmm.
We don't see any workspace reference in there, but that doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything.
Well, is there going to be a problem that?
So I started building Yarn to Next a while ago, and then someone submitted workspace support, but
Mhm.
I haven't tested it really, so it might work, maybe not, but let's see. It's just sometimes you get some contribution that seems like it's good, and it's a shame to leave the pull requests line, and
Mhm.
so maybe it's better to merge it, even though it's not necessarily super well tested.
That makes sense.
Okay, so Yarn to Nix is actually in Nix packages itself, but if we want to use the latest version, we might want to use this one. So we're just gonna create shell.nix here.
On the chat, Addis Blattis said, for node package managers, he wants to shill PNPM.
Oh, it does?
He thinks it is the best. I guess that's like an alternative to Yarn or NPM.
Okay. PNPM. Sure. I mean, do you want to drop into the call at this places? Could be fun.
It's a pure dependency model.
Pure is always good. Okay. So this is not really what we want right now. I think I would just start with the shell and install Yarn in it for now. Let's run S.
Yeah, I don't know what run S is.
Let's ask Google. It's a CLI to run the given npm scripts sequentially. Okay. So it's assuming that it exists. Well, I think we need to do the yarn install first. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So there's quite a few dependencies.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what that number 2,567 is. I'm guessing that's the dependencies.
Yeah. That's typical Node projects, like just creating a Hello World project and you have 1,000 dependencies already. That's what happens when you have a package for left pad and right pad and I don't know.
Yeah.
Each function gets a package basically. Hello, Black Quasar, how are you doing? It's my most trusted follower. Yeah. So I think most of the time what you want is to have a shell .mix in your project. Pull in all the runtime dependencies, or like the build dependencies that are not language specific. So here we added yarn, and yarn attaches the version of Node.js. And you probably want to pin Nix packages as well. And then you add that to your repo, and then all your colleagues can run Nix shell, and they have the same version of your things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yarn to Nix is not strictly required here, because yarn to Nix is to package things, but you don't necessarily want to do the build outputs for your project, because yarn is more fine-grained than yarn to Nix. Yarn to Nix is going to it's gonna build everything inside of Nix.
Mm-hmm.
But still, we're gonna try, once we have this working, we're going to add yarn to Nix and then pretend that we want to package this and maybe produce a Docker image out of it or something like that. Could be fun.
Okay. So you're saying that if we were actually React D&D developers, all we would really need is yarn. We would just need an environment with yarn available.
Yeah, because you're a JavaScript developer, right? You don't care about Nix actually, as a JavaScript developer, and you actually don't want Nix to be in your way. So I think that's important. If you have a language support for Nix, it should be out of your way. So every time you have a tool that you need to run, like yarn to Nix or something, every time. Right now, the developer can just type yarn and the log file gets synced automatically from his normal usage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a Nix file that's next to it, then it's going to be one extra step for the developer to remember. So we don't want that.
Yeah. I was wondering. I don't know if now is the best time to talk about it, but
anytime.
Like for the Haskell package set, there's a way if you're developing with Cabal to get all of your Haskell dependencies from Nix packages. So when you're building with Cabal, the only thing that you're actually building with Cabal is the actual project you're working on. And that really helps with build times. Because you can get everything, all the Haskell packages you can just get from the Nix cache.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there is anything similar to, yarn with that.
So first, I think it's wrong to do that, because the only reason Haskell developers do that is because compiling Haskell takes a lot of time. And but the problem is you tie yourself to versions that are Nix packages, right? And usually what you want is something like, when you start your project, you're happy with the versions that are Nix packages, but fairly quickly you're going to have a situation where you need a different version, or if you upgrade next packages, suddenly all the versions are changing. And so you tie yourself to the how next packages is advancing, right? And so the proper solution, I think, it would be to have a log file that's generated. I think Haskell should have a log file that's being generated from its tooling. And then you have your own CI that builds your own cache. And then you still have the speed up improvements, but it would be on your own versions, so you get the control. I think that's the best approach.
Okay, so I think in practice a lot of people do that. I think like the Haskell.nix project, and Stack to Nix, and there's a bunch of projects like that. I think that's a big reason why a lot of them were created.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can make it easier to create a cache and a CI. And I think Hercules and Cachix are trying to move everyone in that direction.
Yeah.
So that was the first half, and the second half of the answer is that in Node you have another problem, which is you have lots of packages that take no time to compile, or almost no time, right? So actually what you want to speed up is the evaluation and not the build time, because our fetching, if you do, so yarn to Nix, for example, reads your log file. And the nice thing about Yarn is that all the hashes are in the log file, so you don't need a prefetch URL step in the whole system. It's just automatically, you can generate derivations. And then for each package, it's going to transform it into a fetch URL. And then place it in the right position in the file system so that Yarn thinks it already downloaded it, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's the level of
that's really nice
Yeah.
that you can do that.
But it means we rely on Yarn not changing where it downloads, or it caches the downloads, right? And we also need this naming scheme that maps the Yarn package name to a file system name. That needs to be correct, because we had a few issues there. For example, when they introduced the @ in front of packages, and they had, I think for Windows reasons, they had to change this to something else. Because Windows has in Unix it's easy because you can have any characters in your files. But on Windows there's some restrictions. So we did that, and what you're gonna find out is that fetching all the packages with Nix is way slower than using Yarn, actually.
Okay.
Because Yarn is reusing the same HTTP connection. In Nix, each fetch URL is a new derivation, and it runs curl, and then it shuts down the connection. So it's hard to compete with Yarn on that regard.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so it looks like our Yarn build has finished now.
So we're saying that the project is working. And now
so if we were actually React D&D developers, we would be pretty happy now at this stage.
Yeah,
so
we would
actually. It looks like we can actually do development on NixOS.
Yeah, actually we would do git commit here. Nixify, that's the official term for the commit. And we would have a user setup.
Oh, do you want me to set that up?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
There you go. Whoops. What is happening? There's no. Oh, I think there's no pager set up with your machine.
Oh yeah. I don't have a pager set up.
Okay.
You could pipe it through less, or
I just wanted to check if it had been committed or not. Interesting. So because we only added yarn, and yarn is pinning the version of Node.js, we don't have Node.js in the environment. So we also need to add Node here. I guess we should probably exit and re-enter. Okay. What is that?
It looks like they have like git commit hooks set up.
Yeah. They're enforcing emojis in the commits, you think?
It looks like they're using emojis in the whatever this commit hook is to, I don't know, say something. It looks like you say like, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here.
I don't know. Okay, let's pretend that this was committed. Do you know about Direnv?
Yeah, I mean, I've never used it, but I do know of its existence.
Okay. Because another thing that you might want to do is add an envarc file in the project. That way, when you enter the folder, it automatically loads the shell.next for you.
Yeah.
So you don't need to remember, and also if you change the shell.next, it's going to reload the shell, so you have the right version when you switch branches and things like that.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
So it's something you might want to do. And I'm completely biased because I wrote Direnv, so just...
Oh, okay.
Right, so one thing we might want to do here is pin the version of next packages.
Yes.
So I think we're just gonna create a next folder. And then... So there's a tool called niv with a V that you can use to easily add dependencies.
Yes.
Hopefully in the future there's a version of Nix that's called Flakes, which is a branch of Nix that Elgo is working on, but also going to help you manage your external dependencies. But right now we can maybe just use Nix prefetch git and then just generate something like that.
Yeah. How close is the Flakes stuff to, getting merged in Nix and being supported as official?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's working, so I think the core is there. Yeah. So that's
good.
You can use it today, and it's actually quite nice to use already. And it has tons of new features. For example, the Nix CLI has a nixdev function that replaces the Nix shell. But I guess it's going to take time to go through the RFC process, and then people are going to have feedback. So I don't know. I would expect maybe next year, sometime mid next year, something like that.
Oh.
But that's like a wild guess. I don't know for...
Yeah, I guess I'll have to look forward to that.
Oops. So here we want to pin release. So the releases are a Nix packages dash channel. And then we might want to use NixOS 1909. And I think that's okay. Oh, okay.
Nick's prefetch Git is, I'm guessing the first argument is a Git repository, and the second argument is a branch.
Yeah, it's a revision, so it could be a tag or a branch or a commit ID.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now I'm
guess-
doing this, but I'm thinking this is if you want to use the built-ins fetch Git, you could use Nix prefetch Git. But it's actually faster to use the prefetch URL because GitHub has archives.
Yes.
So maybe we should actually... The thing is we need to resolve the branch name to a commit ID. And so I'm just gonna... I have a thing called bin Linux packages on my machine that I can use. So I'm just gonna switch to my machine for a sec.
Okay. I don't know if we actually explained this, but so we're both working on my machine. This shell session is on my machine. However, I'm in Japan, so downloading stuff from GitHub is sometimes not the fastest.
Yeah, and we're using a tool called Teammate, and it gives us a SSH session over Tmux, or Tmux combined with SSH. Okay, so I generated this with my little wrapper script. And then here we can just import these packages to Linux. Now if we exit, so we already spent an hour and 12 minutes on this. I don't know how you feel. Do you want to take a break or?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to go to sleep soon.
Yeah, alright. Okay.
So yeah, no, I'm sorry we didn't get time to continue with actually, packaging this with Yarn to Nix.
No, that's fine.
If you wanted to continue with that after I've signed off, I could definitely push this code to GitHub if you want to continue on.
I'm up for whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to continue with this, I can fork it and push it up on GitHub, as you could easily pull it down from.
Just don't. I guess. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what's happening here.
Oh, what did the?
So we get this, so that should work. Oh, we need a double import. Oh, yeah. Because this gives us a source, and then we have the function. So that's just the ordering here. So we need to import, and then we need to import it again. And here we go. And we don't need these parentheses around.
Yeah. I've been using Nix for, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years now. And just recently, I found out that you don't need parentheses after the with keyword.
Oh, yeah. Well, to be fair, the syntax is not very common, so...
I mean, it makes sense when you think of how it would be parsed. It makes sense that you wouldn't need it, but I just never realized that.
Yeah. Cool. So now we have the shell that's spinned, and
Okay.
we want to use yarn to next to package our thing. And I think we can. Is it 15 minutes okay for you?
Yeah, yeah.
I think if we go quickly, we can manage to have something, or like a skeleton.
Yeah, no, yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. So we need next packages again. Okay. And in theory, make yarn package, and then here you'd pass the source.
Hmm.
And typically in a project you want to clean the source because you have some artifacts. So the problem is if you add dot/dot, then when you do a next build, there's a result symlink that's added to your project. So next time you run next build, Next is going to look at dot/dot and say it's not the same hash because now we have this other file, and so you end up building in circles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you also have editor files that are lying around and things like that. So we have this function called clean source. And this just removes the result symlink from your build. But then you might want to be even more specific to avoid unnecessary rebuilds during the compilation. So if we do this, and we run next build, and okay. No, because oh yeah, right. Because there's this more T. Because there's another member of the community who also wrote a tool called Yarn to Nix. And so we have two competing projects with the same name. And none of them wanted to change the name, so...
Also, I don't know if people have seen it, but there's also a couple functions to clean a source directory based on a gitignore file.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Quite useful.
Yeah, it's quite useful
sometimes.
So here we have a little thing that let's cancel this. So now it's trying to add all the node modules that we installed previously into the source as well. So here, typically in the clean source, I'm just gonna to do it here, but remove the node modules folder as well. And right now we're just gonna remove it by hand because we're just gonna ignore this problem for now.
Sounds good.
Okay, so that's a bug in Yarn to Next that's been fixed in master, I think. The issue is that it assumes that the package JSON has a version. Oops, that was. So here it assumes that there's a version, so we're just gonna add a fake version for now.
Okay.
So it's still dumping a very large path. I don't know, maybe it's the .kit folder as well that's taking a long time.
Oh yeah, that could be it.
All right.
If you're actually like, you're actually using Nix to, at work or something, and you realize that your source derivation is really big, or for some reason it's rebuilding every time you do Nix build and you're not sure what's going on. It's very likely that you're accidentally picking up these kind of like build output files in your actual like source code directory.
Yeah. And it can be confusing, right? Because you have something on CI that works because it starts from a clean environment.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the reverse, it works on your machine because accidentally your build depends on one of these intermediary files. And then on CI it doesn't work. And you're like, what? Actually, there's a trick for that. So you can also say built-ins.fetch git. And now it's going to actually ignore the problem if it's because it's gonna clone the repo. So that only works, but I don't think so. If it's not gonna pick up your dirty files, so you have to commit every time before you do the build, I think.
Oh, okay, I see.
But should be faster actually. Let's see. Yeah, see? It did complain about the big source. But we have a problem because it's trying to fetch codeload.github.com for one project, and this is not working. So previously, what we've seen, okay, if I scroll back, we've seen that it fetched did it fetch any yarn dependency? No, it just fetched the system dependencies. Okay. So it builds we set the offline mirror to here. That's where we put the files on disk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here the problem is that we're using the workspaces, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I would have to look into that. But essentially, if you don't use the workspaces, that should be enough to get your project building.
Okay, so it automatically looks at the yarn.lock file.
Yeah, it's looking at. So if you can provide it with a log file like this, or it's gonna assume it's in the SRC otherwise. So that way, if you fetch the file from another repo or something, it's gonna work as well. And if you don't want to do import from derivation, then you need to give the yarn.nix file as well, which is generated. So you'd have to run this tool code yarn2nix. That's yarn2nix-morty.yarn2nix is a CLI that's right now invoked on the log file, and it's generated as an output, and then we import that to load the dependency set. And if you don't want to import from the derivation outputs, then you'd have to run it yourself. So run yarn2nix, and then check in the next file in your repo, which you
Oh.
probably don't want to do as a developer. But if you need to package a Yarn project on Nix packages, then you have to do it because we forbid the import from derivation.
Oh, are there any Yarn packages in Nix packages that are using Yarn to Nix?
Yeah, there's a few. So as usual, the approach is to, git grep. Okay, so there's just one actually. It's this one, so you can look at how it's done. And if we open it, you see that it has the yarn.nix set here, and the package JSON, and it doesn't need the yarn.lock because we skipped that step. It's only used during the building of the project inside of the derivation, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we covered a lot of things today. Do you want me to follow it up with workspaces, or I can send you some more info if you're interested?
I don't think I have any projects right now that I definitely need to get working.
Mm-hmm.
If I do, I will, maybe I'll open an issue on the Yarn to Nix repo or something.
Okay. I think it's documented on the Yarn to Nix repo. But
yeah, okay.
Maybe not very well, but it's probably documented a bit. Is there anything else you wanted to cover?
No, I think that really answered all my questions.
Cool.
I guess I'll probably send a pull request for PureScript PSA. It sounded like Addis Blattis does some of the JavaScript stuff in Nix packages.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded like he kind of wanted it in the actual Node packages set.
Yeah.
So I guess I will send that pull request.
Okay, sounds good. Feel free to add me as a reviewer if you want.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anyone in the stream that wanted to cover some other stuff.
Yeah, I guess, well, thanks for, taking the time to talk to me today.
Yeah, Dennis, it was great. Had a lot of fun. And we can do another session some other day if you're interested.
Yeah, I definitely am interested in doing that.
Cool. And anyone else that's listening, if you're interested in coming, just drop me a message and we can organize a session. So yeah, okay, Dennis, have a good night.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if you're gonna stay on, you, but yeah. I'll talk to you later, hopefully.
Talk to you later. See you, Dennis.
Okay, see ya.
Alright, everyone. I think it's gonna be a wrap for today. Feel free to contact me if you want to come on the stream and if you're interested to discuss anything. And have a good day. And happy Thanksgiving to the Americans people. Thanks. Alright, see you guys.